All right, Shane said 7 now? Yes. All right, and you'll be able to get a ton more like tonight, just going all night. All right, well let's dive in. Let's get started. All right, how we feeling? Feeling good? I said I don't know if my volume's on. I said, how you feeling? Good. Thank you. All right, well let's dive in. If you want to grab out your train manual, grab out your notebook as well. It's going to be a great day today. It's going to be a great day today. I'm going to be on fire 100 miles an hour today, so I'm going to need all of your energy and attention and focus because today is Money Making Friday. It's going to be a big one. So for your demos you've got lined up so far, I know a couple of you, several of you hit your goal and you're already where you need to be. And a lot of you still have a bunch of demos that we still need to get lined up, and that's fine. You'll have plenty of time tonight, tomorrow morning, throughout the weekend to get more demos lined up. And very few people ever have their all of their demos booked by the time they leave training. But Friday night, what are most Mr. and Mrs. Jones doing on a Friday night? Hanging out, yeah, hanging out with a glass of wine and just hanging at home. They're not like going out and partying and doing crazy things like you guys do. Dan and Michael and Eric and Kenzie and Tali, can you guys squeeze in? We're going to fill in these seats here because I don't want to have to yell to the back door. I don't want to lose my voice today. So if you guys can squeeze in and fill in the chairs. We had a couple people drop off from yesterday. Not everybody that was here yesterday is back today. A couple of those people I invited to not come back, and a couple of those people decided they just didn't want to do the job. And that's okay. And it's important to realize that not everybody has the confidence, the work ethic to do a job like this. And some people, they don't believe in themselves, and some people, they just don't have the work ethic to be successful in a job like this. So that's actually a good thing. You shouldn't want everybody. Get squeezed down there. You got to throw some elbows, man. You shouldn't want everyone to work here because if everybody worked here, if some people worked here and didn't have the right work ethic, then all it does is make you look bad. That's why there's stupid things online. That's why there's people, who post negative things about the company. It does, never in our office. You'll never see somebody from Denver, talking crap about Vector and Cutco because we only have great people that work here. But around the company, there are people that just have terrible work ethic. They try the job, they fail because they didn't work hard at it, and then who do they blame? They blame the company, and it's their fault because they didn't put in the effort. So we try to weed those people out. So there are a couple people that I asked to not come back today based on their attitude, based on their work ethic, and a couple people just decided for themselves, which is fine. So I'm totally cool with that. You guys are the right group. I'm fired up for training today. So it's going to be a fun day. I'm going to be high energy, but I need your energy too. Is that cool? Can I count on you guys for that? You know what's funny about the reviews, and we've done like company research. It's like almost like I would say 90% of any bad review online is from somebody who's never even worked here. Like we always do the research, and they don't even post something. We see like what's their history with Cutco. Almost every time it's somebody who never worked here. People judge things before they try it out, and I always say, hey, you can't knock it until you try it. But listen, those are also the same people who are going to be, doing the normal jobs, and they're going to, they're not going to progress their career. They're not going to be able to get the great internships and jobs out of college because their resume isn't going to be stacked, right? They're going to do the normal college job. So I always just, it doesn't bother me. Like I had a lot of friends when I was in high school and college that said, oh, that job is, a scam, or you shouldn't do that. And I was like, have you done it before? Like that's my first question. Have you done it? No, then how can you judge something if you haven't tried it? It's kind of like, if somebody says like, do you like a certain type of music? Like, I don't like this music. Well, have you ever been to a concert for that type of music? Well, you can't judge it if you haven't tried it. So that's usually how I respond. And the best way is just you kick ass, make a lot of money, and just Snapchat them your paychecks. So that's what a lot of our reps, like all of our top reps, like that's what Sean Kennedy does. Sean Kennedy had a lot of friends that like just ripped him apart for doing this job, and he's been getting common paychecks every week, and he sends a picture of the paychecks to all of his friends, and a couple of those friends have started because of that. So the best way you can combat it was positivity. Like you can't fight fire with fire. So like if somebody's negative, like whatever. I mean, how terrible of a person would somebody be to like trash something that they've never done before? So I always just find it with positive energy. And, it's a waste of your time and energy to even think about it. So, yeah. So Listen, those are the same people who are going to be complaining about things in their 40s. They're going to be the grumpy people. They're going to be the grumpy old people too. You're going to be the rich, positive people, right? So only positive people are the rich people, right? Like you guys are going to be super successful because you've got great attitudes. Those are the people who are going to be serving your meals for the rest of your life. So, is that too hard? Damn right, right? Tell them that you want fries with your number 2. All right, let's dive in. In your emails, you have a rep contract. So Jake sent out the email earlier. A bunch of you, who's already filled it out? Who's already filled out the? Most of you have. If you haven't done your contract yet, it's in your email. It takes like 30 seconds to fill out, just to verify your name, phone number, email address, your social security number. I'm going to talk about the contract while you're filling it out. For those of you who have already filled it out, just grab out your notebook. I'm going to teach you a couple things that your contract says. So the first thing in your contract, it talks about how you are a representative for Cutco through Vector. You can't sell Cutco in any other way. You can't post ads online. You can't sell on Craigslist. You can't make a kiosk in the mall and say Shane's Cutco Dreamland. You have to sell Cutco the way that you were taught. The second part talks about how you have to do a full presentation, or in order to get paid for the base pay, you have to do a full presentation, rope, leather, penny demonstration. Virtual demos are good because it's part of the virtual demo. So either in person or virtual, but you have to do the full presentation and the way that you were taught using the manual. The other part, the second part also talks about the pay structure, reviews the base pay and the commission pay. All the details that we went over yesterday, it just explains that in full detail, and it's all the same stuff that we reviewed. The next part talks about advertising guidelines. You can't advertise in a public place. You can't like post online or sell on Craigslist or eBay or anything like that. You can, however, advertise if you have a personal connection. So if you go to a church or synagogue and there's like a community board there, like you can make a flyer and put it on the community board of your church because you go there. Like if mom and dad at their work, if they want to promote it to their friends, or if they have like an email group or something like that, if you belong to that group, that's totally fine. Or if you go to like a golf club or a country club and you want to promote it to the people there, that's fine to do that. You just can't do it in a public forum. You can't just do it like, on the internet or, to something that you don't belong to. But if you're part of that community, it's totally fine.
So if it's like a private group on Facebook for a church?
Totally. Yeah, because as long as you belong to it, as long as you're part of it. Yeah. And I would just ask the head of the group, just ask the permission, just ask if they're comfortable with that. It's usually conflict of interest with you have to ask the GM there. So yeah, because you just don't want to burn any bridges there. Get them upset. So that's with the advertising. If you want to make business cards, you can. There's a website called Vistaprint.com, it's like 250 business cards for like $10. If you want to make business cards, you can. I think they're kind of old school, but if you want to and have that professional feel, you can. Anytime you promote your business, always use the name Cutco. Don't use Vector because customers, they recognize Cutco, not Vector. So just use the product name, not Vector. The other part talks about your taxes. So you guys have a huge tax benefit. You're going to end up paying a lot less in tax than a normal job. So here's how it works. Anybody ever get a paycheck from a normal job that's a lot less than you thought it was going to be? You're like, where's all my money? Oh, by the way, you're going to have a bunch of people calling you and texting you back for demos. Just ignore it. Don't leave training to take those calls. We'll have a couple breaks during training where you can call them back. So don't worry about them now and just kind of focus on me. So don't worry about your phones. So at a normal job, let's say that you get paid, $4,000 for the summer, or you earn $4,000. You're paid like $3,200. All that money's taken out of your taxes, and you're like, WTF? Where's my money? Okay. So here, your taxes are not taken out of your paycheck. You are what's called a 1099 private contractor, so it means you own your own business. So congratulations, you guys are all officially business owners. It's a big deal. Most people go through life and they never own their own business. And you're 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're business owners, so nice work. All right, so let's say this summer you earn $4,000, so same amount. Here's how taxes will work. You're paid $4,000. Nothing is taken out of your weekly check, so you get 100% of what you earn on your paycheck. So if you sell $2,000 and you're at 25%, you make $500 on your paycheck, nothing is deducted. It doesn't mean you don't pay taxes, you have to pay taxes, but you pay tax at the end of the year. Tax date is April 15th. This is a good financial lesson for you guys, by the way. Tax date is April 15th, that's why your parents don't like April 15th, but you pay tax on April 15th of the following spring for the year before. So 2016 taxes will be due April 15th of 2017. So you have to pay taxes. but you don't pay it on your weekly checks, you pay it at the end of the year. But what you do is you pay it based on what's called earned income. Earned income is your taxable income of what the government thinks that you made. And it's not your revenue that you brought in, it's not the money that you got in your account, it's on a lot lower amount. Because when you own your own business, you get to do something called a write-off. Have you ever heard that term, business write-off or deduction? Whose parents own a business, or who's got a family member that owns a business? And they talk about business write-offs, things like that, if it's like a business dinner or something like that, or a trip. So you have write-offs that you can write off that goes against your earned income. So you're taxed based off of earned income. So if you didn't write anything off, then you'd be taxed on the full $4,000. But there are several things that you can write off as a deduction. Okay, so what's one thing you spend money on that has something to do with the job?
Food, gas.
Okay, food for your demos. That's a good one. So food for your demos. So like pineapples and all your fruits for your presentations. It doesn't mean you get reimbursed or paid back for that. It just means you don't pay taxes off of that amount. So save all your receipts for all of the food, all your grocery shopping, for all your fruits and veggies for your demos, because that's a deduction and it gets deducted from your earned income. So food, also food in between demos, it's a travel expense. So if you hit Chipotle or Chick-fil-A in between appointments, then you can write that off as a travel expense as well. Now, next thing, somebody said gas, but this is the big one. It's not gas, it's mileage. As a 1099 private contractor, you get to write off all of your miles. The government has a program where as a 1099, if you drive for presentations, if you drive for work, then you can write off 50 cents for every mile that you drive. So here's the thing, the volume of income that you're gonna make this year, you're never gonna get audited, correct? So you're not gonna get audited. Once you start making six figures, you might get audited, but you're not going to get audited. So what your accountant will say at the end of the year is, Kyla, how many miles did you put on your car this year? And she'll say, I put 7,000 miles on my car this year. And they'll say, what percentage of that was for business purposes? And she's going to say, all of them. So you can track it if you really want to, but nobody's ever going to check and you're never going to get audited. But if you want to sleep well at night, then you can track it. That doesn't matter. But if let's say that she says 5,000 miles that she put on her car were for work purposes. Okay, 5,000 miles. So that means that she gets to deduct $2,500 from her earned income. That means that now her earned income, even with just the mileage, is not 4,000, it's 1,500. So now her level that she pays taxes on is only 1,500 rather than the full 4,000. So she pays taxes on a much lower amount. So we have some reps that make a ridiculous, ungodly amount of money and they pay zero in tax because just their mileage alone deducts all of their earned income. Even though they made a lot of money, they can say that they could write off a lot larger amount because it doesn't cost you 50 cents for every mile that you drive, right? Like gas doesn't cost that much. So you get to write off, it's like tenfold the amount you spend on gas versus the amount that you can deduct from your taxes. Does that make sense? If you do a road trip, and as long as you do appointments while you're there on the road trip, you can deduct all those miles and the expenses while you're there. If you fly somewhere and you do appointments while you're there, you can deduct that travel expense from the cost of the flight. Again, you don't get reimbursed or paid back, it just means you don't pay taxes off that amount. So if you go on a trip and you do demos while you're there, that's a business expense, that's a travel expense. How do you make your phone calls? How do you get your demos? On your phone. Your cell phone bill. You can't go out and buy a new iPhone, but your monthly plan, your monthly bill, that can be a business write-off as well. If you're on a family plan, your portion of that family plan is your write-off. So even if mom and dad pay for it, you don't, it's still your write-off. So basically, at the end of the year, you're going to be able to deduct all these things. Oh, also your sample kit. Your sample kit, if you buy your sample kit or when you buy your sample kit, then that's a deduction as well against your earned income. So let's say at the end of the year, you can write off $2,500 worth of expenses. That means that you only pay taxes off of $1,500, so your tax exposure is much less. So two things to remember. Number one is save your receipts. And number two is save 10% of all your paychecks into a separate savings account. That way it's out of sight, out of mind. That way Chase doesn't go out and buy the new Xbox and say, oh crap, I forgot about taxes. So save 10% of your paychecks into a separate savings account and then save all your receipts. The easiest way to do that is by using a debit card and then just printing out your monthly statements and highlighting your work expenses. That's the easiest way to do it. That way you don't have to have a shoebox full of actual paper receipts. Hey, Jake or Devin? All right, so does that make sense? So that's your taxes. The rest of the rep agreement is just basic stuff about not lying, cheating, or stealing. Like that would be called grounds for termination if you lie to a customer or steal or cheat or lie about your presentation. It's pretty basic stuff like that. So that's the contract. All right, let's talk about your sample kit. So you have the 3 character reference sheet. Everyone take out that character reference sheet. It's 3 people who can vouch for you as a good person. So flip over on the back where it has those 3 people. So I need name, phone number, and name, phone number, relationship of 3 people who can vouch for you as a good person, that you're not going to steal my kit. So don't worry about your license number at the top. I don't need that. Don't worry about address for those people. I just need name, phone number, and relationship of 3 people who can say, Kaylee's a good person. She's not going to steal my sample kit. Okay. So the first person has to be mom or dad. So mom or dad has to be the first, and then 2 other people who can vouch for you as a good human being. Okay, does anyone not have that sheet? Everyone's got that sheet? Okay. So 3 people can vouch for you as a good person. You're not going to steal my kit. By the way, the only way that we're going to contact them is if Chase runs away and he goes MIA, and we have to track him down. And if my K-bars can't find him, then please. Don't worry about it. Yeah. All right, so 3 people. Yeah. All right. So 3. What's that?
If I put my mom and my dad as 2, is that a problem? Or should I just like cross one of them?
I mean, if you could, 3 separate households would be best, but yeah, 3 people can vouch for you.
Just name your phone number.
Yeah, just name, phone number, and relationship. Yep, name, phone number, relationship. Don't worry about their work or their address. And then make sure you put your name at the top. So you're going to get your sample kit today. Can I show you guys what you get in your sample kit?
Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
So what you get in your sample kit, the value of your sample kit is $430. $430. Polly, is this your stuff? All right, $430 worth of product. Now, whose product is it? Mine. Until you buy it. Once you buy it, I know most of you will buy it pretty soon. Once you get your first big paycheck. You don't have to, but most people do. I'll tell you why in a few minutes. But you get $430 worth of product. Now, your sample kit comes in a pure pleather blue briefcase. This is real 100% pleather. It's really, really good stuff. This is like a big bank bag, right? You want this bag to be worn out by the end of the summer, because the more it's worn out, the more money you're making. All right, so let me tell you what you get in your sample kit. The first thing, I need some drum rolls for this too. First thing you get in your sample kit is a cutting what? Board. What do you do on this? That's beautiful. All right, the next thing you get in your sample kit is a polishing what? Polishing what? And what do you do with this? Polish stuff. Good. Next thing you get is a bag of rope and leather. And what do you do with this? Good. All right, next thing you get is your super duper veggie what? Peeler. What do you do with this? You guys are going to be really good. You guys are going to be so good. All right, next up you get a box. And in your box you have a pair of super what? Shears. Did you guys all cut a penny today? Successfully? Anybody screw up? Good. All right, I'm going to show you some other tricks today too. So you get your shears to cut the penny. And after you cut stuff you say, bam, Mrs. Who? Jones. Beautiful. And then you get a burrito of knives. Okay, so here's how it works. So your knives are rolled up in a burrito, and you get 4 knives to start off in your sample kit. The first thing you get in your sample kit is your pearl color table what? Knife. Good. I'm giving you soft toss today. These are going to be easy answers, because yesterday you were a little bit suspect. So you guys want to learn knife safety? Okay, knife safety. There's your knives come in with a cardboard sheath. They've got blue pinchy tabs. You're going to take the blue pinchy tab, and that's the only part that you ever touch. Never, ever, ever touch any other part. Blue pinchy tab off, blue pinchy tab on. Blue pinchy tab off, blue pinchy tab on. Now the knife has to be facing away from you, because if the knife is facing towards you and you slip or you miss the hole that it goes into, you're gonna cut your finger, okay? So always facing away, blue pinchy tab. I've never cut myself, 14 years, I've never cut myself. Why? Because I abide by the blue pinchy tab law, okay? Never touch anything else besides that. If you go like this and you have a long knife and a short sheath, the wrong one, then you're gonna stab yourself. If you go like this, then it can go through the cardboard and get you. If you go like this, you should call a 1-800 number, okay? So, sorry, is that too dark? Should we edit that?
Just a little bit.
Should we edit that from the film? Okay, wonderful. Yeah, whatever. Blue pinchy tab off, blue pinchy tab on. You get the table knife. Sorry, Tyler. Too soon. Too soon. All right, then the next one is the paring what? Knife, good. And the paring knife has what color handle? What is it also called? Classic, good. Classic, and the paring knife nickname is the air. Good. The next one is the pearl-colored what? What's the utility knife? What's the name of the utility knife? The second knife in the homemaker set. What is it, Michael?
Trimmer.
Trimmer. Okay, what do you cut with the trimmer in your demo? What's the food that I hate, but you have to cut every single time no matter what? Tomato. Now it comes with this really cool sheet. These are brand new, they just came out. So customers who aren't getting a blocker or tray, they're just getting individual knives, they can get these cool plastic little guards there so they could put them in the drawer. Most people get it in the set in the block, but if they are going to buy individual knives, this is a really good option. So you get the guard to go on the trimmer, okay? And then the next is your petite what? Carver. What do you cut? There's two things you cut in your demo with petite carver. What's the first one? Before we get to the food, what's the first thing that you cut with petite carver? Rope. Good. This is your rope cutting knife. It's got what color handle? Classic. And then you also, in your demo, what do you cut every time? Pineapple. Exactly. All right, blue pinchy tab off, blue pinchy tab on. So those are the 4 knives you have in your set. Now, if I just gave you this one knife, you could sell the ultimate set. I think Stephen Westerfield forgot his sample kit one day, and he drove out like an hour for appointments. He's like, oh crap, what do I do? And I was like, figure it out, buddy. And he sold 3 ultimate sets that day. He didn't even have his kit. So he just says, Mrs. Jones, imagine what it would feel like to cut through a piece of rope right now. And he just had to wing it. And he sold 3 ultimate sets. And they're like, do you know how many knives to show me? He's like, Mrs. Jones, it's probably the 15-day trial. Come on. So anyway, you can have one knife and you could sell the entire set. The cool thing about winning all those prizes in your fast start is that the more knives you have, the more food you cut. But as long as you have the petite carver, you can sell the whole thing. What's the level? Who remembers what the level is in sales to win the rest of the homemaker? You guys remember? 3,500. That's a huge, huge deal. You got to knock that out as quickly as you can in your fast start, because then you win the whole set and it's so much fun. All of your fast start prizes, you get in one big package at the end of your fast start, and it's like Christmas. I mean, you open up this box and all of your Cutco's in there. It's the coolest thing ever.
With the fast start, you can win rest knives too to pay for them.
No, those prizes, everything you win is yours for free. Now this, you would have to buy your kit to get the base stuff. But yeah, all the stuff that you win is yours. Yep. All right, so that is the sample kit. Now this is $430 worth of stuff. It's really expensive. Now this is whose stuff? My stuff. Now there are 22 of you, so what that means is that is over $8,000. It's over $9,000 actually worth of Cutco. It's $9 grand worth of Cutco that I'm loaning you guys today. Now this is my Cutco, so if one goes missing, that's $430 that I lose. So this is the most serious that I'll ever be. You guys know I'm a lot like very laid back. I'm pretty cool. I know you think I'm pretty cool. At least tell me to go above my ego. But I'm a pretty nice chill guy. But this is the one thing that, like, this and communication. Like, the only thing I care about is communication and my sample kit, because this is the only reason why I would turn it to the Incredible Hulk. And I also have a full shelf full of K-Bar knives, so you don't want to see me angry. All right. The sample kit is mine until you buy it. Once you buy it, it's yours forever. But while you're borrowing it, and if you decide just to borrow it the whole summer and then return it before you go back to school, that's fine. But you have to abide by the guidelines on this sheet for the time that you're borrowing it. So flip over to that sheet, and we're going to go through the sample kit guidelines to make sure you understand how this works. Now, I know for a fact that none of you in here would ever intentionally steal my sample kit. Can we agree on that? Like, you guys you're good. Like, nobody who ever works for us would ever be somebody who would steal or lie or, like, intentionally, cost me $430. Like, that just doesn't happen. So we don't have reps like that. However, sometimes reps make some mistakes and they just forget. So I want to make sure that you're laser focused on this so you don't forget how this works. It's very, very important because bad things will happen to both of us if this doesn't, if we don't abide by this. So I want to make sure that we're laser focused for this. All right, so it says Vector Marketing hereinafter Vector agrees to loan without charge 1 sample kit to your name. So go ahead and put your name on there. And then sample contents, we just went over those sample contents, valued at how much? $430. Upon taking possession of the sample kit, the sales rep accepts all responsibility for loss, theft, damage, or destruction of same. Replacement cost of the kit is at the discounted price of $89 plus applicable sales tax. So what that means is that if you lose it, you can get it replaced at the discounted price. You don't have to replace it at my price of $430. You can replace it at discounted price. Don't lose your kit though. Now, don't leave it in your car. Bring it inside with you every day because cars get broken into sometimes. Also, if it's really hot, you don't want your like hot, warm knives to to hand hot, warm knives to your customer. So make sure that you bring your sample kit inside. Anthony, here you go. All right. So make sure that you keep your sample kit inside in a safe place. Do not lose your kit. If you lose it though, you can get it replaced at the discounted price of $89. Number 2, the sales rep agrees to make the sample kit available for inspection upon request. So let's say if Talia comes in, I say, hey, I need to see your kit to make sure everything's in there. She has to be able to show me. I very rarely do that, but you'd have to be able to show me that everything's in your kit and nothing's missing. Number 3, the sample kit remains the property of Vector. The sales rep should not remove it from the general area without written consent from Vector. The sales rep agrees to notify Vector within 48 hours of any changes in address or phone number while loading the sample kit. This means that if you're going to travel and you want to bring Cutco with you, for sure you can do that. You just have to let us know first. So Tyler can't just like go on a family trip and bring his Cutco and call us from there and be like, hey, I'm in Florida, got my kit with me. You guys have to let us know first. So as long as we're in the know, totally fine. Do you need that?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, if we lose like one knife, then
You can get that replaced too. You wouldn't have to replace the whole kit.
At
Yeah.
like the discounted price as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
Yeah, but don't forget things at your customer's house. I can't, so many times I forgot my cutting board there, my peeler there, I had to go back and get it. But yeah, just keep track, make sure everything's in there. But yeah, if you one piece goes missing, you can get that replaced at a much lower rate. Yep. All right, so if you travel, you can definitely travel. You can bring it with you, but you just have to let us know first. If you move, especially if you're going to be working around school in the fall, if you're going away to school and you want to work in that local office, I would just suggest buying your kit. That way, it's yours forever. You don't have to worry about checking it, checking it out. If you're still going to borrow, you would have to check your kit in here, and then wherever you go to school, you'd have to check out a kit at the local office wherever you go to school. So that's if you're still going to borrow. If you buy it, then you can just still stay part of our office and just do virtual appointments and work around school at your leisure.
So is it possible for someone to buy it out of this kit?
No. For a customer?
Yeah.
No, because then you don't have to show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can't. All right, so number 4. To retain, this is the big one. This is one I need everyone to be like laser focused on. This is the one that you gotta make sure you do not forget. I'm gonna pound this into your head a million times. To retain the privilege of borrowing the sample kit, the sales rep, Allison, no phones. Yeah, put your phones away. I need laser contact on your page. All right, to retain the privilege of borrowing the sample kit, the sales rep must remain active with a new order submitted weekly. If the sales rep plans on being inactive for more than a week, they're to return the kit to the office. When a sales rep becomes active with new demos, they may again borrow a sample kit. So what this means is that you have to have at least one sale per week in order to be an active rep of record to be able to borrow your sample kit. So if you are going to be away for a week, who's got a vacation where you're going to be away for a week or more and you're not going to be doing demos on that vacation? Okay. If you have that situation, you have to check your kit into the office before you leave. Now we have a sample kit closet in the back. We keep track of all the kits, so everybody who checks it in, we put your name on it. It stays in the office. As soon as you get back, you just grab your kit. So Tim Daly was gone for 2 weeks, just came back, picked up his kit, and started doing his demos again. So we've got probably 15, 20 reps out of town right now, and their kits are here at the office. They're just checked in. So you have to remember to do this, because I had a rep that went on vacation and forgot to check it in. Obviously, they didn't intentionally, steal it, but here's the thing: if you go a week without writing up an order, the company just assumes that you're what? That you're stealing the kit, that you're no longer working. Dan, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Good. Hey, when you turned that, how much?
Just a pair of shoes.
Parachute. Hey, still $100 though.
Yeah.
And you're hitting your 15% promotion, right?
Yeah.
Are you a 20 year?
No.
Almost a 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. But made $15 in that one day. A pair of shoes
Right.
making $15. That doesn't suck.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about the job, Dan?
The flexibility.
Yeah, just started on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Can you give some advice on their first weekend? How to get the most out of it?
Follow the manual and listen to everything this guy says. It's cool.
Make a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, a lot of phone calls.
If you could start your fast start all over again, what would you do differently?
Make 10 times as many phone calls.
Yeah.
Demos.
Don't be afraid to call anyone.
Don't be afraid of calling anybody. I called people that I hadn't talked to in like 5 years, trying to get their parents' numbers, and everyone's happy to help you out. So.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks. Dan. Let's give Dan one clap. 1, 2, 3. All right. So okay. So you gotta have an order a week. If you're not going to have an order that week, like if you know that you're out of town and you're not working, or let's say it's college orientation, you're gone, and you're not going to be doing any demos that week, you got to be safe and check in your kit. Now, let's say you come down with the flu and you're like deathly ill. Don't come into my office because I don't want anyone else to get the flu, but have mom come in and drop off your kit. Like if you know you're not going to work that week, just have somebody bring in your kit, drop it off for you, because here, let me explain everything and hold all your questions. So if you have a week without doing demos, the company just assumes, if you don't have any sales, they're just going to assume that you're not working. They don't know you like I know you. I know Dan's a good person. I know that he's not going to steal my sample kit. But the company doesn't know you. There's tens of thousands of Cutco reps out there, so they don't know you. So they just have to do it based on the numbers. And if you don't write up an order for the week, they assume that you ran away with the kit. They assume you stole it. So 3 things happen in that situation. Number 1 is you become inactive. And inactive means that even if you wanted to sell Cutco in the future, the company doesn't trust that you can be responsible for your sample kit, and they won't allow you to work in the future. The second thing that happens is that it gets reported as stolen, like it gets marked as stolen. You don't want stolen property associated with your name. Why? Because I've got really tall assistant managers with really sharp knives, okay? And they're like my ground patrol, okay? Just kidding, they're not gonna do that. But here's the thing, it gets marked as stolen, and you don't want stolen anything associated with your name. The third thing that happens is I get charged for your sample kit, okay? So listen, Annalise is a good person. She would never steal from me, right? But if she goes a week without an order and she forgets to check in her kit, I get charged for that sample kit. Not your discounted price, but the full price, okay? That is not okay, because that comes out of Barclays treat fund, and you don't want my dog to not have treats, okay? So you gotta make sure that you check in your kit if you're not gonna be working that week. Now let's say that you have a week where you do demos and you just had that really horrible week, like the Murphy's Law week, where you did demos, you just didn't have any sales. There's a grace period of 3 days where you have 3 days into the next week to write up an order. So if you had a week it was just, everything went wrong, you just didn't have any sales that week, you've got a couple days to make up for it. But if you have a week where you just didn't do any demos, you have to check in your kit, okay? So here's the other thing. I know that this job, for most of you, almost everybody in here, you're going to do the job the entire summer. There's going to be one person in here. I don't know who it's going to be. Now, yesterday we said you got to give it at least how many weeks? You got to give it at least 2 weeks. So the bums who decided that they give up on themselves, that's going to set a precedent for everything they do for the rest of their life. They're going to give up on everything. We get that. You guys aren't. Obviously, that's why you're going to be taking up this job. However, if you go, if you do the job for 2 weeks and you don't love it, I know Kyla's going to love the job, but let's say that after 2 weeks, Kyla's like, hey, it was cool, it's just not my thing. We're not going to judge you. We're not going to yell at you. We're not going to be like, oh, Kyla, you suck in selling Cutco. You're a failure. Whatever. It's great for most people. It's not for everyone. I get that, okay? I've done the job long enough where I know that it's not a perfect fit for everyone. So if Kyla decides that it's not a perfect fit for her, that's okay. You got to return my kit, though, because 1, you don't want it to be marked as stolen. 2, you don't want me to get charged for that kit. And 3, as long as somebody puts in a good effort, like if Kyla works hard and it's just not her thing, but she gives it a good effort, I will always allow her to put me as a reference on her resume anytime she applies for a job, forever, for the future. Anytime she applies for a job, anytime she applies for an internship, grad school, anything like that, she can always put me down as a reference. And I am a big deal to have on your resume. Not like because I'm a big deal, but to have, to me to be able to write a letter for you or to give you a good reference when somebody calls and says, ask me about your character, ask me about, how good of a person you are or how hard of a worker you are, I will always give you a phenomenal recommendation. I will land you whatever job you want in the future. However, if Kyla took my kit and didn't return it, am I ever going to give her a good recommendation? No, that would be ridiculous. So here's the thing. If it's not for you, don't be embarrassed, don't be nervous, just come in and return the kit. We're going to leave on great terms. If the job's not for you, you're still a good person. It doesn't mean you're a horrible person, okay? So just don't be that person that gets nervous or, runs away with the kit. Now, here's the thing. In every instance that I've been charged for a kit, it's because the person just totally forgot and spaced out. If you went a week without an order and you were like, oh crap, don't go into hide it, return it, because I can still recoup that as if you turned it. Don't forget, but if you did, don't run away and be ghost me, all right? So you guys get this? The reason why I'm beating a dead horse here is because this is really, I'm lending you $9,000 worth of my product today, and I want to make sure that I don't lose any of that. Is that cool? We fair with that? Okay. Number 5 says sales reps are responsible for returning the kit. So when you're done working at the end of the summer, if you're just going to check in your kit and you're going to come back next year, or even if you're just done at the end of the summer, just return your kit. You'll get a receipt for it. And then the other option is you can buy it. Now, most reps just buy their kit once they get their first paycheck, first big paycheck. Usually, I always say, once you hit your $3,000 promotion, you're not going anywhere. Once you hit 3K, you're like, all right, this job rocks. Even if you just did it part-time for a while, owning your kit means that you're a permanent Cutco rep forever, and you can always use it as a second source of income. I have reps that are lawyers and doctors, and they sell Cutco over the holidays to family and friends and repeat orders, so it's always a second source of income. So that's a benefit of buying your kit, is that you're always a Cutco rep. Plus, you have your own knives, you have your own kit, plus all the stuff you win at your fast start is yours too. So you have a whole set of knives. That's a big deal, and it's super cheap. So it's only $89 plus tax to buy your sample kit, and that's for $430 worth of Cutco. So you can buy it at any time you want. You can buy it right away, you can buy it at the end of summer before you go to school, you can buy it once you get your first big paycheck. Whatever you want to buy it, you buy it right online. You're going to have your own module on the Cutco website. You have your own page that keeps track of all your customers, your commissions, all your orders. You have your own page on the company site, and you can just buy your kit right on there with a credit card. So whenever you want to, you can buy it. And once you do, this gets ripped up because you're not borrowing it anymore. So that way, if you went on that vacation, you don't have to worry about checking it in. So there's no check-in, check-out process once you buy your kit, because it's yours forever. Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's a write-off, so it's $89 plus tax. That's a write-off as well. Yep, for sure. Question? Shade? Any other question? How did I answer yours?
Sort of. So what if, hypothetically, someone's gone for 2 weeks out of state, but they're doing demos, but they happen not have any sales?
Right. As long as you're doing demos, that's fine. But I've never had that happen. Somebody go 2 weeks without sales and did a demo. I mean, it's very rare. In that circumstance, we know that you're still active and working. So cool. Yeah. Good. Any other questions with that?
If we do go out of town or out of the state, would you want us to tell you what appointments you had set up
sure.
before then?
Yeah, we're going to talk about communication next. So that's a good segue anyway. All right, so let's talk about communication, and I'm going to give you a sheet. We call this PDI, Personal Daily Interaction. And I'm going to give you this sheet. This is the communication expectation. So I'm getting the tough stuff, the serious conversations out of the way first. And then we're going to dive into finishing the rest of the presentation. So, on this sheet here, once you filled out your contract, in your email, it will shoot you back the receipt of your contract. And so open up your phone real quick. Open up that contract real quick. At the top left-hand corner of your sales rep agreement, it has your rep number. It's right. I think it's right above the Vector logo. It's an 8-digit number. Starts with the number 5. And so go ahead and open that email. It should be the receipt for your sales rep contract. Hey, any one of my assistant managers? Steve, here. All right, so in your email, you've got that contract receipt at the top left-hand corner. Did you guys see it? It's right above the Vector logo. It's an 8-digit number. It should start with a 5. That's your rep number. So you're going to put that rep number at the top of your training manual. It might start with a 4. That's right. Either 4 or 5. Yep. So at the top of your training manual, go ahead and put that rep number in the training manual, and also put it on that sample kit agreement sheet.
top left.
Yeah, it's the top left of the Vector logo.
Wait,
It's-
where?
It starts with either 4 or 5. What's up?
Get the sample agreement and where else?
Yeah, on the top of your training manual too. That way you don't forget it. Because you're going to turn that sample agreement in just a second.
Got it.
So, did everyone find that rec number? Top left. Yeah, just click review document. You have the number, yeah. You have the 8-digit number at the top of the Vector logo. That's your rep number. So you're going to put that rep number on that sample kit agreement sheet where it says rep number, and then also put it at the top of your training manual.
This is somewhat off topic, but on Wednesday, we have the training from 9 to 10, and then do you have?
Hold off on all scheduling questions. Write it down this so you don't forget. And just we'll work out with your captain.
Wait, so my dad still says he has enough, I guess, it's really weird.
Hey, Jake. Let me check his junk box too. All right, so once you have your, I'll see you find your rep number.
No, I didn't get it yet.
Hey, Jake, I need all hands on deck here. I need everybody helping out here. So, I got a bunch of people who didn't get their contract. Did you sign your contract though?
No.
You get your rep agreement? Did you get your
I
same rep
got my
contract?
email that I got yesterday, but not.
Okay, so I have a bunch of people that didn't have contracts. So, okay, raise your hand if you didn't get your sales rep contract, if you didn't fill it out yet. So Kaylee, Alston, Sade, everybody else, you signed it, you got yours? You got your rep number? Okay. So did everyone find that rep number? You put it on your training manual and on that sheet? Okay. So Kaylee and Alston need theirs, and then Sade. I need one of the assistant managers to be sitting there the whole time. I don't want to be yelling for somebody. All right, once you have that rep number, take that sample kit agreement with the 3 character references. Once you have the 3 character references with 3 people can vouch for you as a good person, and you're not going to steal my kit, go ahead and pass that down to the right, and Mackenzie's going to collect all of them. So you're going to pass that down to the right. Yep.
Do you know,
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
do you know if your email's gonna be later, or is it gonna?
It'll say from back. Yeah. So don't, and then for now, for those sheets, we'll pass them, we'll fill in your rep number on those, but at least and you'll, as soon as you sign your contract, fill it out in your training manual. All right, everyone pass down your 3 character reference sheet.
Should I still do this?
Yeah, we'll put your rep number on afterwards. Just when you meet with your captain today, just make sure once you get your rep number, just have them fill it out on your sheet, because they'll have your sample kit sheet. I thought you guys borrowing?
He's borrowing my desk here.
You have something, right? Thank you. All right, good. Everybody good on that? Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Do I not have anybody? Do I have everybody's? Got everybody's sheet? Anybody's still hanging on to theirs? Okay, cool. All right, so let's talk about communication expectations. And as soon as you get that, just check everything. All right, let's talk about communication expectations. So communication expectations we call PDI. PDI stands for personal daily interaction. The sample kit and this are the only 2 things that I care about. I don't care about your sales at all. I don't care how much you sell. Why? Because I know you're going to sell a lot. And you care enough about your sales for the 2 of us. Okay, so I don't care how much you sell at all. Some people get off to a really fast start. Some people get off to a slower start. For example, Robert Danbury He's in the Cutco Hall of Fame. He's one of the top reps in our office. In his entire fast start, he sold $263. He was the worst ever. He broke records for like suckiness. Okay, the worst human being to ever sell Cutco in his fast start. $263. Now he's at $2 million in sales, and he's one of the best ever. He's top 40 in company history. Why? Because he had great communication. He didn't give up on himself. Some people start strong. Some people, falter a little bit and they pick it up. As long as you don't give up on yourself, we'll never give up on you. Now, some people start really strong, but I don't care. All I care about is communication and my sample kit. Okay, that's all I care about is communication. So if Kaylee sells 5 homemakers in a row, but she doesn't have great communication, I don't care about those homemakers. Why? We sell $3 million worth of Cutco a year in this office. Those 5 homemakers don't mean anything to me. They mean a lot to you, but it doesn't mean anything to me. All that matters to me is we've got good people on our team following the guidelines and communicating effectively. Because if Kaylee sells a bunch of Cutco this weekend, but she doesn't communicate, I can't feel good about that, right? But let's say that she has a really rough weekend, but she has great communication, I'm still going to feel great about her because I know that she's got a lot of potential. So for me, all that matters is communication. Clear on that? Okay. I don't care about your sales. All I care about is your communication. All right. So and your attitude, positive attitude. Don't be a negative Nancy. Negative Nancy's, we don't deal with them. Okay. Positive attitudes, great communication. All I care about. All right. So let's read through the communication guidelines. So communication is the most important part of Vector. We don't judge reps based on results. We judge reps based on positive attitude and great what? Communication. As long as you have great communication with your manager, we will help you achieve your what? Goals. We will never give up on a representative on our team, so never give up on yourself. The guidelines below are designed to help you be successful in Vector and achieve your what? Goals. The following PDI expectations are crucial to your success. The more coaching, positive feedback, and mentoring you get, the quicker you will hit promotions and your paychecks will grow. Beautiful. Office communication guidelines. So here's how PDI works. PDI, again, is personal daily interaction. It's kind of a weird acronym, PDI, but whatever, that's what we call it, PDI. Okay, so personal daily interaction, it's when you're communicating with your captain. You're going to get a captain today. Your captain is going to be chosen based on your personality and what I feel like you would need to hit your goals. It doesn't matter who you're with because they're all extremely talented. But for example, I've got Aaron Beckman, who is phenomenal leader. He's like the type of person, he's like really like soft on the outside, but like just super competitor on the inside. So for those of you who I feel your personality will match his, I'm going to put you on his team, right? And then I've got Scott, who's just like the most bubbly, fun, energetic, like, funniest person you'll ever meet in your life. So if I feel your personality matches that, I'll put you with Scott. So you're going to be on a team with the personality match of the captain that fits you best, or with somebody who might have the skill set that I think that you need to take you to the next level, whether they're really good at recommendations or really good at closing bigger sales or building confidence. So you're going to be matched up with a captain based on who I feel like will help you get to that top level as quickly as possible, okay? So your communication with them is crucial because your assistant managers, they're doing a ton of presentations. Their job is to be the #1 rep on the team, right? If you beat them in sales, they're going to be really pissed. So their job is to beat you, not beat you, but like lead by example, I should say. But their job, they get dual income. They make money off the office, but they make most of their money off their sales. If I have somebody on their team that doesn't have great communication, it jeopardizes their success, jeopardizes their opportunity. Because let's say that Tyler's captain, let's say that Tyler's going to be on, I'll say Tyler, you're going to be on Dom's team. Okay, personality match, perfect. So Tyler's going to be on Dom's team. Now, if Tyler is not communicating effectively with Dom, then what that does is it takes away Dom's opportunity to make phone calls for his own demos. If Dom has to spend time like tracking Tyler down or worrying where he is, then it takes away from Dom's sales success, which will really impact his paycheck in a negative way. So the more you communicate and the better you communicate, the better it helps them too. Plus, they're going to take a lot of pride in your sales because they're all competing. They're teams. We have team competitions, and it's like a big deal, for you to succeed. So their job is to help you hit your goals. They will be 100% invested into you, but the more you communicate, the more they're going to want to help you. So let's say that Shane is on Andrew's team, and Shane. The more Shane is calling Andrew, the more Shane is showing Andrew that he's motivated and fired up for the job, the more Andrew's going to invest his time into Shane. So like, let's say Shane's like, hey, I need some help with closing. Andrew will sit there for an hour with you and help you, with your sales skills and help you improve your demo because he sees that you're interested and invested, and he's going to put more time into you. So the more you're communicating, the better you're communicating, the more they're going to invest into your success. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So here's the guidelines. This is up until you're at $6,000 in sales. However, all of our reps, they continue doing it after that. Like Heather, the girl you met yesterday, the short redhead girl, she's at $75,000 in sales. She calls after every single presentation no matter what. She's at 75 grand. She doesn't need to at this point, but she still does. Curtis, our #1 rep in the company, $4 million in sales. We talk on almost a daily basis. He calls me after his appointment sometimes because once in a while he just likes to brag. He's at $4 million. Obviously, he doesn't need to communicate and follow these guidelines, but he still does because when you have a big sale, you're going to want to brag, right? Fisher's going to sell an ultimate set. He's not going to want to keep it to himself. So when you have a big sale, your captain's going to be fired up for you. They're going to be like, ultimate set! When he sells an ice cream scoop, his captain's going to be like, ice cream scoop! Right? If you have a no sale, they're going to pick you up. They're going to boost your energy because after every no sale comes a what? Big sale. And after every bad day comes a what? So it's even more important that you talk to them on your bad days or after your bad demos because we have the 1 minute rule. You can be pissed and negative for a minute, like you can slam your face on the steering wheel for a minute, but you got to call them right after and be positive again. Their job is to help remind you that it's not a big deal. So if Michael has a no sales, captain's going to be like, hey dude, don't sweat it. You got it out of the way. Next one's going to be big. Tell me about your next appointment. So their job is to encourage and motivate you. So don't ever be nervous or embarrassed or upset. You got to call and you got to check it every time. All right, so this is up until 6,000, but all of our reps do this for every demo no matter what. Up until 6,000, I will call my manager before my first appointment of the day. So this is your initial check-in. Now today you're here, so anybody who has a 6 o'clock or a 6:30 demo, you're just going to high-five your captain before you leave because that's your check-in. You're not going to walk out the door and then call them and say I'm on my way to my demo because that's weird. But for tomorrow, like whatever your first demo is tomorrow, you'll call them on your way to your first presentation. If your first demo is at noon, you'll call it 11:45. Your first demo is at 3, you'll call it 2:45. Now, it's all based on your goal. You're going to sit down with your captain today. The last half an hour of training today is just sitting with your captain, and you're going to tell them what all your demo times are, and they're going to fill out a calendar for you. So you're going to have a calendar. They're going to have a calendar with all your appointment times, so they're going to know exactly who you're showing and when. Now, let's say that Kyla has 4 demos tomorrow, and her first one's not until noon. But let's say her goal was 6. They're going to know what your goals are too. If she wanted 6 appointments tomorrow, but she only has 4 and her first one's not until noon, her captain will probably want to talk to her in the morning earlier to help her make a game plan to get that goal. Now, let's say that her goal was 4 and she has 4 and her first one's not until noon. Her captain won't expect to hear from her until 11:45, just before the first one. But if she wanted to do more, they'll want to talk to you earlier today. You'll just map that out with your captain, right? So if you're going for 7 tomorrow and you only have 3, yeah, they're going to want to talk to you at like 8 or 9 in the morning to make a plan to get on the phone and get more demos lined up. But if you have your goal, then they don't expect to hear from you until right before your first one. Does that make sense? Good with everybody? Okay, so that's your initial check-in. It's kind of like clocking in for a job. Like if anybody have a job that you have to clock in for, and if you don't clock in, what happens? You don't get paid. Yeah, same thing here. If you don't check in from your demos, then we don't know that the demo happened. So that's the check-in process. You're going to fill out a sheet with all your demos too, but you got to check in. It's just a quick phone call. It's like, hey, finished. I'm going to my first demo, and they're going to say, awesome, kick butt. Don't forget to bring your pineapple. Like that's the morning check-in call. It is pretty simple. And they're going to build your confidence, get you excited. But here's the other thing: every time you're on the phone with your captain, you can ask them for tips and ask them for advice. They are so talented. They're so good at sales. So you can just pick their brain. Like their job is to help teach you as much as possible. So ask a ton of questions. All right, then it says, I will call my manager after every presentation, regardless of a sale. You have a big sale, call it. You have a small sale, call it. You have no sale, call it. You got to check in. Okay, it says, within 15 minutes of leaving my customer's house, I will take the time to check in, even if I'm running late for another demo. So let's say Sam has 2 demos back to back. His first one goes really late and really long, and he's like rushing to his next demo. I would rather you be late to the next demo, and check in. Because if you don't check in, we're going to assume one of 3 things. All 3 things lead to death. Okay, the first thing that we're going to assume, perception is reality, right? So what we're going to do is if Sam doesn't check in and his captain doesn't hear from him, we're going to assume that either 1, he doesn't care about communication guidelines, and he's just like, screw it, I can do whatever I want, which means vector death because you can't work here if you don't have good communication, because I cannot work with somebody with bad communication. I've taken a couple of kits away from people this summer so far that didn't communicate very effectively. I just can't do that. I can't work this. I can't jeopardize my assistant manager's time. So we're going to assume either vector death, or we're going to assume that you got hit by a bus, which is real death. That's not good. The third thing that we're going to assume is you got chopped up into little pieces in your customer's closet, which leads to real death as well. So all three lead to death. So we don't want to assume that. Now here's what probably happened. Like Sam is like running late to his demo. He's freaking out because he's super nervous because it's his first day, and he's like, oh my gosh, I got to get to the customer's house. And if he forgets to check in, his captain's worried about him. His captain's like, where the heck is Sam? What happened? Is he dead? All right, so you got to check in no matter what. Don't forget to check in because your captain, their peace of mind and their sanity relies on you checking in. Okay. It says, if I have no phone or no phone service. So some of you guys that live in the boonies, in Parker and Elizabeth, if you live in the middle of nowhere and you have terrible service, call from your customer's house. Because if you have bad service, especially if you Sprint, all right, if you call from the customer's house and just say, hey, I just need to make sure I check in so my manager doesn't think that you hit me in the closet and chop me into little pieces, and my phone has bad service in this area, can I call from your house phone? So just use their house phone and call and check in with your manager, okay? This is if I need help at the presentation, I'll call during the presentation. Our best reps call like multiple times during demos. Like if you have a question about a product or if your customer's question you don't know how to answer, just call your captain. Like we have reps that will call 4, 5, 6 times during a demo. Or if like you're writing up the order and you're a little bit confused on writing up the order, just call in and help. We'll help you out. Devin has a rep on her team that's like very, very nervous about like math. And every order, she just calls Devin, and Devin just walks through all the numbers with her. So she's sitting at her customer's house, and Devin just helps her do the calculations, and she just fills out the form with Devin on the phone. So anytime you need help, always, always, always call in. If you're confused, call in. If you're nervous, call in. If you're lonely, call somebody else. But make sure you're calling all the time. If an appointment reschedules or cancels, also check in to let them know. Because if Michael has a demo at let's say he's got a demo tomorrow at 12 and it reschedules to a different time, if he doesn't let his captain know, his captain is going to just assume that it's still going. So if it's like 1:30, 1:45 and his captain hasn't heard from him, death, death, or death, right? So they're just going to assume the worst. But Michael's probably just sitting there at home making phone calls, booking the rest of his demos, and you just have to let them know. By the way, a rescheduled demo or a canceled demo, you might think it's a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Because if you have a rescheduled or canceled demo, in that 1 hour that you would have been doing the presentation, what can you be doing during that time? Make calls. And you'll book a lot more demos. You'll book 2, 3, 4, 5 demos during that time. That's going to lead to a lot more sales than that one demo would have. So we don't get upset at rescheduled and canceled demos. We just take advantage of that time and we book more appointments. So it's always, we look at everything as a blessing in disguise. There's a silver lining to everything. So any challenge, anything bad that happens can turn into a good thing, right? So so make sure you check in, let them know if you have any canceled or rescheduled appointments.
If they don't pick up, should we just...
Next.
Okay.
All right, when I schedule more appointments, I'll let my manager know. So when you're on the phone with them, just keep on updating them with any demo changes. So when you're on the phone, say, hey, I finished my demo, here's how it went. By the way, I booked 2 more appointments, here are the times. So just keep on letting them know the times of your demos every time. Let me go through all this, and then if you have any questions afterwards, you can ask. If my manager does not pick up, I will leave a message with full details, full updates on the result of my demo. So if you leave a message, that's good to go for checking in, because they'll probably either on the phone with somebody else or they're in one of their own presentations. So if Sam finishes his demo and he doesn't need help, he's just checking in, just leave a message. He's not going to be like, hey, it's Sam, bye. But like leave a full message. Say, hey, it's Sam, just finished my demo. You know, I sold a studio set, gave away the shears for free, and I got 5 referrals. Okay, cool, I'll talk to you on the next, for the next demo. So as long as you leave a message, you're good to go. Now, it says if I have an appointment late at night or extremely early in the morning. So if you have like a 10 o'clock demo tonight and it's not done until like midnight, still call in, still leave them a message. They'll just get it tomorrow morning. Now they're probably going to be up because they're college students, so they're okay. I'm the old guy that goes to sleep early, so they'll be. So I'm sure they'll still answer. But even if it's super late, still call in, still check in. If I need help on the demo, I'll call twice as a sign that I'm in a demo and I need assistance. So let's say that you're wheeling and dealing and you need a deal for your customer and they don't answer the first time, just hang up, call right back. Don't blow them up like 12 times, but just call twice because if they see your number pop up twice, that's the international sign for I need a deal. So anytime they see your number pop up twice in a row, they'll call you back as soon as they can, and when they see it on their phone, they'll know that you need a deal. you're always going to have Jake and Devin's number as backup. So let's say that Fisher is on Dom's team, and he calls twice because he needs a deal, and Dom's in one of his own presentations. Well, he'll always have Jake and Devin's number as backup. So if you need a deal and your captain is busy, you'll have a backup number for deals. Sound good? Okay. It says, if my manager doesn't pick up and I need help, I'll call the office number. That's Jake and Devin. Okay, so deals, making deals, and I'm going to explain this a couple times today, but I want to say it now so that way it's in your head. All of our reps. This is something that our office does that most offices don't. This is one of the reasons why our averages are so high, is because all of our reps, no matter what, always call in for every deal, no matter what. I'm going to teach you, we're going to do like a 40-minute workshop today on making deals, so you're going to know all the math of like what you can give for free. For whatever they buy, there's certain value of free stuff you can give. I'm going to go through a whole workshop on how to give free stuff and how to wheel and deal. But so even though you're going to know how to do it, all of our reps call in every sale, every demo to confirm the deal. So the reason is because it shows the customer they're getting the best deal possible. This is really important for your customers. So if Courtney's in a demo, and you know that with the Homemaker, you can give away the kitchen tools, the entertainer pack, or the super shears for free. So if Courtney's in a demo and her customer says, yes, I want the Homemaker and I want the shears for free, she's still going to call anyway for her captain just to confirm it, because it's going to make her customer feel really good knowing that you have to confirm the deal, because it's showing them that you're going out of your way to get them the best deal possible. Okay, so Courtney's going to say, hey Devin, I'm with my customer. They're going to get the Homemaker. Just want to make sure it's okay that I threw in the shears for free. And Devin will say, yep, that sounds great. Tell your customer congratulations. And it makes your customer feel awesome, okay? So no matter what deal you do, like, we had a guy, Riley Laurenti, he used to sell ultimate sets and give like peelers for free. And when I teach other workshops, of course you can give a peeler for free on an ultimate set, because that's like something really tiny on a really big set. But he would call me and he would say, hey Drew, I'm with my customer, they're gonna get the ultimate set. Is there any way I can throw in the peeler for free? It would really seal the deal. And I'd be like, I think we can do it. And he'd be like, oh yes, thank you so much. They're gonna love this. He's like, hey guys, we can do the peeler for free. And they'd be like, ah. Right, so you call in no matter what for any deal, but especially if they're on the edge. Like here's the rule of thumb: if you have a customer who's 1% interested in any, as you're dropping down, 1% interested in that set, it doesn't hurt to call and ask. So Shane is in a demo and his customer says no to the Homemaker, but they're like, it's kind of like a hesitant. They're like, we like it, but just not sure. It's too big or it's too much. If there's any bit of interest, just say, hey, you know what, let me call my manager and see if there's anything we can do. Just for fun, let me see if there's a better deal we can do, no matter what it is, whether it's a set or individual pieces. Anytime during the drop down when you see a little bit of interest, it doesn't hurt to call and ask. So if Shane just calls his captain and says, hey, I've got a customer, they're interested in the galley set, but they're kind of on the edge, is there anything we can do? His captain, your captains know deals that you won't know, because there's a lot of really cool special things that we can do. So his captain might say, yeah, we can do this and this and this and this, and he's going to be like, holy, you can do that? And this guy's going to be like, yep, and he's going to say, all right, let me ask my customer. By the way, you can just put them on speakerphone. Our captains are so good, you can literally just say, hey, I'm with my customer, I'm going to put you on speaker, I'm going to tell you what they like, can you help me make a deal? We do workshops, hours and hours of workshops with our assistants. They know how to do the craziest deals possible, so anytime somebody's on the edge, just call in, you can put them on speaker, you can let them seal the deal for you. They're really, really good at this. Okay. Plus tonight, for your demos tonight especially, they all come to my place and we have food, we hang out, so all the assistants will be in my place tonight and we just jam, we're helping you out with deals, and it's a lot of fun. So we will hook you up with crazy deals. Plus this weekend especially, we want to hook grandma up, we want to hook mom and dad up, so you want to get the best deals that you can. So everyone you show this weekend, no matter what, always call your captain for crazy deals. Sound good? Sounds good. All right, now it says after my third promotion, and this is, so once you hit 6,000, you don't have to check in after every one. It's just a check-in at the beginning of the day, a check-out at the end of the day. However, every single one of our reps, no matter what they're at in sales, 10K, 20K, 30K, they all still call in after every one. Why? Because you want to brag about your sales. It's like, you don't want to hide that. Of course you're going to want to brag about it. And our top reps know that when they have a bad demo, they need that pick-me-up, they need that boost of confidence. So always call no matter what. The more you communicate, the better relationship you're going to build with your captain, the more they're going to help you, the more you're going to learn. It makes a big difference. You guys feel good about that? Okay. Any questions? Did I answer your question, Tanya?
Yeah, I just had a question. So can we, okay, so if we're like really close with a friend's parents or like we're friends with parents or something like that and we know for a fact if we left the voice, we're like, hey, can you just give me a call back? Is that okay? Because I did that this morning and she called me back and now she's like scheduled. So is that
You're talking about setting up appointments?
Yeah.
Yeah, you never want to do the approach in there, but yeah, if
No,
it's
just
somebody
like-
like that, you can just say, give me a call back. But the thing is, then the only thing that happens is now you have to wait until they call you back, because if you try that later, then it's stalking. So I never left messages because I always wanted to be able to call back later. So personal preference, I didn't do that, and most reps don't. But if it's somebody you know will call you back, for sure. Yeah. Good. Any questions with communication? Feel good about that? All right. I'm going to give you your presentation book. I'm going to give you your blue book. Okay. This blue book, it's yours. Now, when you get your blue book, don't open it yet. We're going to go one page at a time. So don't open your blue book yet. Just keep it on the front cover because we're going to go through the whole thing together. All right, so we're going to learn the drop-down process. We're going to learn all the smaller sets. We're going to learn all the prices. Do that at their house. It's always going to be at their house. Yeah. All right. So let's go through the presentation book. Let's go through the blue book. All right. So if you open up the and I'm going to have you have your training manual out at the same time. Can they finally get the contract?
Yeah, I got
Cool. Also, you get yours too. Stand on yet? All right, we got to make sure we get that from Jake. Sade, you got yours? Figured out your contract? Okay. All right, so take out your training manual and your blue book, and I want to show you how the pages in your blue book match up to your training manual. All right, so if you open up the first page of your blue book, you're going to see the Fast Start thermometer. Now, this Fast Start thermometer is very, very important. What you're going to do is you're going to, hey Marlo, can I show you? Guys, this is Marlo Mitchell. Marlo started, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. And Marlo just finished her Fast Start last week, right? So you're in your third week.
Yeah.
And your first weekend, how many appointments did you do?
Around 14.
14 appointments. Do you remember how much you sold?
I think it was just under 5,000 CPO.
5,000. So she made $800 in her first weekend. That doesn't suck at all. Did everyone tell you they're going to buy?
No.
What do they all say?
That they're not going to buy anything.
How many of those people bought sets?
Probably half.
Half.
Yeah.
So that's pretty standard. Half of your customers will buy sets. Half of your customers will buy individual pieces. Now, when they said no to the homemaker, like, do you freak out and get upset, or
No.
what do you, when they don't buy the homemaker, when they say no to the homemaker, what do you do?
Then you get just as excited for the gallery set.
Yep. And then just you never skip it. Why don't you ever skip sets? Why do you show all the options?
Because you never know what your customer wants or needs or might be interested in.
Have you sold a bunch of the smaller sets too?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you don't show it, then you can't sell it, right? So all the smaller sets are really, really popular. So you sell a lot of the smaller sets too, right? And you're out of those 14, how many bought?
12.
12 out of the 14. So really solid. And then what do you have in sales now?
It's just around 11,000.
11,000. Oh wait, she sold 10,000 in her Fast Start. So is your face up on that wall yet?
No, they lost the plaque.
we gotta make her a plaque.
Lost.
She sold $10,000 in sales in her first 10 days, made $2,000 in income in 10 days, and then 30%. Does she look like a very overwhelming salesperson? No, pretty laid back. She's just a smiley, shy person. Any advice on how to get the most out of the first weekend?
Just have fun with it. Make a lot of phone calls. And call people that you think might not even be interested because they might buy a set or something. I have a lot of those.
Who's the person that you didn't think was going to buy a lot but bought a ton? Who surprised you the most?
One of my good friends' parents, just because they said they didn't need any knives, and I kind of believed them, and they bought a homemaker, so I was good with them.
And what do you cut in your demos?
Carrots, tomatoes, pineapple for sure, apples, sometimes a watermelon, cucumber.
Awesome. And let's see, and with the goals, we're talking about the thermometer. How do you tie your customers into your goals, and why is that important to tie them into your goals?
Well, I tie them into it just because so they know that they're not just like buying from a random person, like it's just kind of important to you and that they see it. And then I just had them all write their name in the little box, and I filled the thermometer, and I just talked about it for a while, like 5 to 7 minutes.
Does it make a difference when you tie them into your goals?
Oh, I think so, for sure.
What do you think the change is when you tie them into your goals? What effect does that have?
Just it makes you more of like a person who's just trying to like help them out and get them better knives than just like a salesperson who's only looking for money.
Yeah. And did you have somebody that bought bigger because they were so excited for you and tied in your goals? What was that?
Yeah, so she wasn't gonna buy, she was just gonna buy a couple pieces, and then she bought a kitchenette set. And it was just like, just because she was like, I'm so invested in your goals and I want you to hit your fast start, because I talked about it for a really long time. So she got the set and she loves it, so this is kind of helping them out and yourself out as well.
Awesome. Right, so the more they buy, the more it helps them out too, because obviously they're going to be thrilled with their Cutco, and the more Cutco they get, the happier they're going to be. So sometimes, like even if they say, hey, I'm just doing this to help you out, good. Well, a week from now, they're going to be like, I'm really glad I bought that set. Perfect. How much are those for?
These are just a couple small table knife sets and then kitchenettes.
How much?
Together from $700.
So a couple small orders, $700. By the way, she's at 30%, so she just made $230, $210 off of that, right? It was yesterday?
Yeah.
She made $200 yesterday. Just a couple small orders, no big deal. $700 at 30%. This job doesn't suck at all. Awesome. Let's give Marla a round of applause. Thanks, Marla. All right, so the thermometer, so she said that, she mentioned that she had the customer sign it. So there are 40 boxes here. This is really important. You're gonna have every customer who buys from you sign their name on one of these boxes. This is big for creating competition among family and neighbors, because if you have a family member who signs it and you show your other family member, they're like, oh, what did they get? Especially if mom and dad are split, oh, it's the greatest. And they're like, what did your father get? A homemaker. Well, what's bigger than a homemaker? So it's good for family competition, also good for neighbors, because nobody wants to be the person on the block with the smallest set of Cutco, right? Nobody wants to be that person. So you're going to have all of your customers sign their name on one of these boxes, and you're going to fill up your thermometer as you go. Now what's neat is that you make your first sale, you have a big first chunk. You sell your first set, let's say you sell a homemaker, you get to fill out like a third of the thermometer, even though it's just $1,000 in sales, so it feels like you're really, going up the ranks there. But you're going to fill it up as you go. This is not just for your fast start, this is for up until you get to minimum of dirty 30, but this is basically your $20,000 thermometer. So you're going to continue this and really keep tying your customers into your goals. So on page 1, if you open up page 1 of your training manual where it says tie into goals, this is the point, this is the part, not in your blue book, in your training manual. So you have to open up page 1 at the same time your training manual. So when it says tie your customers into your goals, this is the page that you're going to be open to when you're tying them into your goals and you're talking about your fast start. Sound good?